In this EvolveFM features overview, we're going to take a look at how you can use EvolveFM's data grids to search, sort, view, and personalize your view of your facility's information. For this presentation, I'm going to log into Evolve, select the Space Management module, and then select the Occupants tab. Let's first take a look at the icons at the top left of the screen. As I highlight each one, it will change color and identify itself. Advanced Search opens up an additional dialog that we will take a look at in a few minutes. The plus icon is for adding a new, in this case, occupant record. The X icon is for deleting an occupant, and the box and arrow icon is for opening a highlighted record. Finally, the three vertical dots icon gives you some choices for how you want to display occupant data on your screen. EvolveFM lets you look at your facility's data in two forms: grids for filtering and viewing what you need, and forms for editing and drilling into details. Grids help you find what you need, forms let you edit and update information. Grids offer several ways for you to search for what you need. First, note that in the bottom left corner of the screen, we can see the total number of records in the occupants file, in this case 952. I can click on a column in the grid, like last name, and then type a few characters in the search box, hit on search, and get a list of all the matching names. And you'll notice that the count in the lower left corner now reflects the number of records filtered. You'll also notice that the search box is turned orange, indicating that the grid I am looking at contains filtered data. Clicking on the X shuts the filter off and returns my original list of 952 records. Also note that any column name I click on becomes the field in the database that I am searching on. Next, we will look at the column of letters and numbers on the right-hand side of the screen. Clicking on the letter E, for example, gives me a list of all the occupants in the database whose last names begin with E. And you'll notice that this column changes color, again to indicate that I am looking at filtered data on the screen. You can see that we have 16 occupants whose last names begin with the letter E. Clicking on the E again shuts the filter off and returns my original occupants list. Finally, we will click on the Advanced Search icon, which lets us filter our information on multiple fields when we really need to refine the search to find what we need. Let's look at a couple of examples. For my first search, I want to find anybody whose last name begins with the letter E and whose cost center is accounting. To do this, I put the E and the percent symbol in the last name box, and then I search in another box for the cost center. After I type in a few letters of accounting, you notice that it finds that cost center and puts it in the box. When I hit apply, I immediately see the list of occupants that meet my search criteria. You can do some pretty clever things with the wildcard percent. If I put the letter E between the two percent symbols, the search will find any occupant in accounting with the letter E anywhere in their names. If I put the percent symbol before the E, the search finds anyone in accounting whose name ends in the letter E. You can see that these tools allow you to do some very advanced searching to filter the information you are looking for. The next thing we want to cover in this overview about grids is views. Let's begin by turning off all our filters by hitting the clear key. Next, if we hover our cursor near the right edge of any column in the grid, we bring up a dialog box that lets us sort our records in ascending or descending order based on the information in the column. Also, if we click on the column selection, we can see the available fields for this kind of database record, and we can see which ones are visible and which ones are hidden. We can expose or hide any column by either checking or unchecking it. Further, we can drag our columns back and forth across the grid to put them in any order that suits our reviewing requirements. Once we have the columns set up the way we want to see them, we can click on the gear in the current views box and create a new view. Once we've given this view a name, we can save it for future use and, if we like, make it the default view for this grid. If we make it the default view, every time we open the occupants grid, this is the way we'll see our occupants information. This kind of flexibility lets you personalize every data grid in Evolve so that information gets presented the way you want to see it. The last feature we want to cover in this overview is how to edit individual and multiple database records. Let's highlight a database record on the grid and either double-click it or click on the open icon at the top of the grid. With the record open, I can select any of the tabs on the form, click on any of the fields under the tab, and add or change information as needed. When I'm done, I just hit the Save button to update that record in the database. Sometimes it is useful to be able to edit multiple records at the same time. To demonstrate this feature, I'm going to switch to the space grid. Then I can hold down my Control key and scroll through my list of spaces to click and highlight as many of them as I want to edit. When I click on the open icon, all the fields that are common and can be edited are made available. Any changes I make will be applied to all the selected records. We hope this overview of how grids work in EvolveFM helps you visualize how your facility's information can be managed in EvolveFM. Thanks for watching.